Hello there, guys, gals, and non-binary pals, all of whom are loved and welcomed in this space. Welcome to a brand new episode of the Bibliotheque of Boba Fett, the only Book of Boba Fett discussion show hosted by the Imperial Senate Podcast. I'm your host, Charlie Ashby, and joining me, as always, is Master Assassin Clare Stribling. Hey.
Hey. You know what? It's going well. Today I'm feeling very, very thankful that you host this show, because I can't imagine having to say Bibliotheque of Boba Fett like every time perfectly. So you're a star. Well, you're a star, buddy.
You know, I came up with the title. I feel like it's my burden to have to say it every week.
It's your burden to bear. You did this.
You did this to yourself. But yeah, no. How's your week? All good?
Yeah, no major complaints. Surviving, thriving.
How are you like preparing for this episode? Because I feel like this is one where, based on last week, it was like, where could this go? Could this be like a quick appearance? We'll delve into that. But like, what was your thoughts? Like, what were you expecting?
My Star Wars mindset is always keep them expectations low. Keep them so low, you won't get disappointed. You know, like the second that I let my mind run away with itself, it's just like my wish list is like 18 miles long, and it's never something that will like legitimately depress me if it doesn't happen. But it's always like, you know, better to keep the expectations reasonable. I'm still waiting on Salacious Crumb. It's fine. It's fine. I'm not that so like this is what happens when we want things, and it's not okay. But yeah, I kept him low, and I just was completely overwhelmed by how quickly we got into that sweet Din Djarin time, and how we stayed in that Din Djarin, that world for the whole episode. I was like not expecting that. I'm feeling good.
They're just teasing you, Claire. You know, at the end of the series, there's going to be like another post-credit scene, and it's going to be like a tiny seat next to Boba's chair, and it's just what you're going to see Salacious sit in it. And like,
hey, remember what I just said about this is why we got to keep expectations low so we don't want things?
Mm-hmm.
Why you got to be like that? Why you got to do that?
Hey, to be fair, most of the things I've said on the show have come true.
So okay, well then say about the crumb then. Come on. Will it into existence.
I'm praying for the crumb. But we're joined by a very special guest this week. Discussing this week's episode with us is the chief film critic for The Independent and co-host of the Fade to Black pod. It's Clarisse Loughrey.
Hello. I feel like you're bigging me up too much now. I like Star Wars. You got to keep the expectations low.
Not true. No. You can even tell my voice. I was like running out of breath just trying to list all the achievements you've done.
Oh God.
How are you doing?
Operation Embarrass Her is on. It's on.
I'm good. Thank you so much for having me on. I am so excited to talk specifically about this episode, which I loved. I giggled like a small child through most of it, which is really nice. Really nice.
I feel like that's the key. Like that's when Star Wars really gets you, is when it makes you turn into a child again, and you're like, I need to be critical, but also I just want to go and find my toys. Yeah. You become deliciously crumb.
Oh, Dan, you're being so silly. That was me the entire episode.
I was like, oh, your poor leg. But yeah, I was like, you just want to go up and go, you little rascal, grab his helmet.
Because I was so worried he was gonna, considering when we left him, I was like, are we gonna see him for the first time? And he's like in a bathrobe and he's blasting like Getaway Car by Taylor Swift. Just like softly crying underneath the helmet. And like, we didn't quite get that, but I'm still watching him. I'm like, oh, Din, bebe, sweet man. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, he ain't dealing well.
Time.
I was so happy that through the entire episode, we have a through line of Din having BDE, as in Big Dad energy, like from start to finish. Big dad energy. I'm glad it wasn't depressed, recently divorced dad energy with the open bathrobe and drinking the beer at noon. But I'm I'm so happy that he just wants to get back to his sweet baby boy. Like, and make him gifts out of Beskar. Make him a little chain of something. I don't know. I'm so excited.
Obviously, we're jumping ahead a little bit, but I really love that moment where the armor was kind of like, the Jedi cannot have attachments. And he's like, cool. I'm going to see him next week.
Be like, hey, well, bitch, I'm not a Jedi, so I'm going to do whatever the hell I want.
Cool story, bro.
Cool story, bro.
Zoom.
That may be their religion, but my religion is I'm getting that kid. Peace out.
Exactly.
What's that meme? I ain't reading that, but I ain't reading that. Good for you, or I'm sorry. It's just that's the meme for them. I like the way that you were phrasing it though, like the idea of him being like depressed in a bathrobe. But all I can think of now is Buzz Lightyear with the pink apron. Like it just didn't just sitting there. And Mrs. Nesbit. But yeah, should we get stuck into the episode?
Let's do it.
Yes.
Let's go to the beginning. Of course, the return of the Mandalorian. The episode, of course, starts off with a little bounty hunting mission for Din. I thought it was really nice the way that it was framed. It was kind of a bit like the first episode of the Mandalorian, with the whole tracking fob and him having to go off on this little mission elsewhere. It was also nice to kind of have a different environment for once, because I've really appreciated the way that the Book of Boba Fett isn't just hopping off to different planets all the time. But then again, it's also nice to have a bit of freshness every now and again. I thought it was really cool to see a bit more blues this episode, as opposed to all the yellowy oranges that we get to see with Boba. What did you think of the opening sequence, Claire?
First of all, I was instantly shocked at the fact they're like, oh, we're here. Okay, cool. Din's doing Din stuff. And from that point, my mind just kind of blanked out for the first like watch through. I was just like, what the? I think it's kind of like perverted to have like pig people in a butcher shop. I don't know. Maybe that's my own real world bias coming in. But I loved the opening sequence so much. I just was emotionally overwhelmed. I checked out. Like there are a few, there's not that many times that you can just make me go completely like brain dead from a Star Wars scene right off the bat in one of these shows. And that did it. That did it. And wow, I missed him. I'm just so happy he's here. Daddy's home.
What about you, Clarisse?
I really liked how much we learned about him in that opening scene, because the fact that he is going back to the very first episode of Mandalorian is kind of this idea that, oh, he hasn't really given himself time to grieve. He's just trying to go back to the person he was before. And it felt like the fighting was like a lot more brutal, I guess, especially because he was getting the dark saber out, and he was really like, I was a bit like, damn, what's happening, buddy?
Like, we're walking around with a severed head in a bag for the first 10 minutes of the show.
Yeah, like the whole sequence really screamed, oh, this man should be getting therapy, but he's not getting therapy. And this isn't going to end well. He's just thinking that he can just go back to being the cool bounty hunter he was before. And it's like, no, you're a dad now. Things have changed, So yeah, immediately heartbroken. Very sad, but also delighted.
That's a great way of putting it. Yeah, very sad, but also delighted. I completely agree. Like the whole opening sequence is a nice little way of saying he's like any character. He's changed. You can't go back to the person you were. Like he can't. He's not that person anymore. You can't just become a bounty hunter. He is, like you said, a dad. Grogu isn't just a child. He's a Jedi. There's all these different things, and he's not just a Mandalorian anymore. He's holding this very important tool that has shifted the entire existence of his planet, and he's using it to, like, as a bounty hunter. Like you can't just be like, oh yeah, I'm going to use this sword of Excalibur to try and catch some burglars or something. Like, it doesn't work. You have to. There's more importance to him now, and I feel like he's just sort of trying to get to grips with that. And yeah, I just really like the way that it was directed. The opening sequence, really fun. A lot of those moments where it's pretty much, are they going to do the thing? They did the thing, especially with what I can bring you in cold, or I can bring you in warm. I was like, they did okay, got that. Darksaber, got that, and it's just really great to see them delve, dive into that. And again, Din is also a man of the people. He doesn't just take money because it's there. He's like, I did what I did. I did what I was paid for. Now go ahead, do what you want. I'm gonna leave. So,
he just seems so sad though.
He's so sad. You can tell that and that's again, it's one of the best things about the whole mask acting, is that you can tell just by the mask of his own emotions and emotional state. And I think it's really cool the way that's the acting, the physical acting that's done there. Really great. The whole episode, we'll dive into this obviously later on, but the whole episode I thought did a really great job at, even though this is the Book of Boba Fett and this felt like a Mandalorian episode, it to me felt very much still like a Book of Boba Fett episode, because it's doing what the show is doing for Boba Fett in terms of diving into the character and understanding the core themes emotionally and just as a character. Like, both Din and Boba are the same, like they come from the same root problem. They're both orphans who are foundlings.
They lost their tribe. And they're trying to reconnect to it. And were both ousted by the Mandalorians. One of them happens to be, technically, both. Like, because Din has been rejected by not only the aristocracy side of the Mandalorians, but now he's been rejected by the cult. So there's a real interesting sort of look there between him and Boba, and I just love their friendship, and I feel like that's why I really enjoyed this episode. It felt like it was doing what it's been doing for Boba the last few episodes, which is delving into that character. Who is he, and why does he do these things? But yeah, the whole opening sequence really cool, really powerful. But it isn't until we get into the little section of why he's there on this exact planet, on the Halo ring, I guess. Like, I never played Halo, but I think that's a reference that someone would appreciate. So, throwing that out there.
Wait, does Halo take place on a Halo?
I think so, yeah.
This changes everything.
Like,
that sounds cool. Kid. I want to play this game now. Sorry.
I'm from Halo.
Okay. I've learned something new tonight.
I think it does. Like, there's a big, circular thing. Yeah.
All I know is that at one point I had an ex-boyfriend show me hours of cutscenes from this, and I was just continuing to drink alcohol while he did this. So I'm like, okay, we're sharing this thing you like, and I don't remember anything of it.
So this was like later relationship, like teenagers.
Yeah.
Oh no, Claire.
Yeah. I know, Charlie. You know firsthand that I've not had the best track record of
that's true.
picking
Actually,
winners.
That makes sense.
Doesn't it make a lot of sense to you? Come on now. I think I'm straightening my radar out, but good lord.
It's like the Star Wars timeline. Like, I know there's tragedy everywhere, but just expect more of it to come earlier on.
My relationship's it's like the Star Wars
Skywalker saga.
The Skywalker saga. Jesus. I'm hoping I'm in the Rise of Skywalker chapter here. Come on now.
Yeah, the happy ending.
I'm just always the Tragedy of Darth Plagueis chapter. That's me at all times.
Oh man, that's not a story that many would tell you. So
not too bad. You get to the opera.
Yeah, whenever I go to the opera, I just tell everybody about my exes. It goes really well every time. I can tell you that.
Ryan.
Oh Jesus!
What?
Oh my goodness!
But yeah, we find out that the sect that Din was a part of, the cult, I guess we call them that, are still around, but there's only 2 of the members left. It is the armorer and my good friend Paz Vizsla, who, you're like, oh yeah, he survived, and you're like, oh yeah, I forgot his family a douchebag.
Yeah, little of both.
He's he's like the college bro. I feel like the visitors are the college bros of the Mandalorian Society.
He has the voice of the guards in Skyrim.
Yes.
You know, when you get stopped, they're like, "Halt! You have committed a crime." It's
Halt.
that. I don't know who the voice actor is,
Jon
but it's
Favreau.
that. Is it?
Yeah.
Doing a Skyrim guard impression, right?
Yeah, because he
It
played
must be.
in the Clone Wars. He played the
He played Pre-Vizsla though.
Pre-Vizsla.
But this guy isn't voiced by Jon Favreau in the show, right? He's some other guy,
Yeah.
right?
No, it's not played by him, but it's voiced by
Okay.
Jon Favreau.
Oh.
Because they
Clearly, I don't know what Jon Favreau sounds like.
I don't either.
It's the Vizsla blood. That's why I love it, because it's like this guy has lost his saber, like, well, his cousin, I guess. I don't know who. It must be like cousin, uncle, lost the saber. Now he's losing it. It's like this whole family, like, apart from Tar Vizsla,
Bunch of
suck.
clowns. Yeah. Bunch of clowns.
But I don't know, because obviously he's related. He's part of the family Vizsla. But I do kind of like the idea that he's maybe like this guy's like maybe like a distant cousin. It'd be like if someone was called Barry Plantagenet trying to claim the throne of England. It's like, I promise you, I am a direct descendant. It's like, I believe they relate to them, but I don't think that gives you any. It's like, yeah, I'm a Vizsla, so yes, that's my saber. I'll take that. It's like, it doesn't work like that, my friend. You suck.
My goodness.
And poor Din's like, finally, my family, I found them. Maybe this will fill the hole that has left me because of Grogu. And they're like, hey, did you take your mask off? He's like, oh, shit.
Oh, God. The tension of when she asks, have you taken your helmet off? And it cuts to him, just like...
Because you can see underneath his head, it's like, shit.
It's like, oh.
It's like, don't say the truth, don't say the truth, don't say the truth. Yes.
I felt physical pain watching that.
I know.
Because I've been in that situation where someone's like, did you do that thing? And you're like,
Did you say your prayers?
My favorite take on the internet, which goes off of my was it 2 weeks ago? My Boba Fett is gay because he was lubed up fighting a bear story.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna Star Wars is gay actually. This is another situation of Star Wars is gay actually, because somebody on Twitter, who I wish I could remember who they were so I could credit them. Whoever you are, tweet at me and yell at me for being awful and not remembering who tweets things. But they were like, Star Wars is so gay. What is gayer than going to your religion, your life, your family, and being like, this is how I am. This is what I did. And they're like, shun from the religion forever. That's so gay. And I'm like, it is gay. Star Wars is gay.
And it's a decision purely out of love as well.
Yeah. Like, good Lord. Star Wars is gay.
This might be a
that analogy.
Yeah.
I
this
do
might be
too.
a hot take, but I feel like cults are bad.
What? Oh shit.
You know? They're like,
Let
maybe
me just unsubscribe to that mailing list then. Jeez.
extreme religious cults are probably not great.
They just wanted to do a personality test. I don't understand what's wrong with that.
And
that's how the Mandalorians get you.
That's right. Next thing you know, I'm in a helmet wearing like, oh god, praying to some Mythosaur.
Have you heard of our Lord and Savior Tar Vizsla? Oh yeah. Yeah, ridiculous. Like you know what it reminded me of actually a lot? When you get told off by your mum or your dad. Mm-hmm. Like it felt exactly like the armor might as well have gone, Din Djarin, did you take the last cookie from the cookie jar? Yeah.
Oh my god, he was like one of those dogs, those TikToks of the dogs where they've eaten the cookies.
Oh
and they're like tracking around the entire house. And there's just Din in the corner like, ooh. Like his head's buried in the corner of the couch.
You know the answer before you even say it. They don't need to say the answer. You know the answer.
Oh no.
It's like
Din. Din, I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed.
Oh, that would have been.
Oof. Oof.
But we do get.
Also, remember him being like, how do I fix it? Can't I go fix it? Can I go atone for my prop? Well, you could have if the Empire didn't blow our shit up. But now you got to be a bummer forever. Like, oh god, my whole heart. That scene.
It was more of a not my problem. You find it.
I'm not the one who screwed up. That was you. Oh.
I would have just argued, like, look, let me take the helmet off. Just see how hot I am. Because I feel like this is the thing. You know, I knew it was Pedro Pascal under that helmet the whole time, obviously. But when we first saw him helmetless, it is a bit like, this has been a real waste for the people of this galaxy. That face has just been inside a helmet the whole time. I feel like
there was a really funny meme for the first series of The Mandalorian where someone put, I know this is Pedro Pascal. It's his voice. We knew he was cast. We know who it is. And then it's like the screenshot of the helmet being taken off. And then it's the little Pikachu surprise face. Like, because somehow it's kind of like
Pedro Pascal.
Oh, man, he really used to atone for the sin of hiding that hot mug. Like, my gracious. Share with the class.
To be fair, though, when they put the helmet on, he was a kid. They weren't to know that he was going to look like a daddy.
How could they have known? It's part of their religion, you know? It's whatever. It's cool. It's not cool, but...
That's what changes it. He takes it off, and they're like, well, we've been living a lie. And they're all hot. They all take it off, they're all
hot.
10 out of 10.
Oh my god, this whole time I thought we were all just really ugly and just had very low self-esteem about it. We've been hot this entire time. See, I would love to be a Mandalorian. You just wouldn't have to worry about anything.
Oh yeah, no makeup, no hair. Yeah, don't even worry about it.
This is the way.
That's like the L'Oreal advert. Beskar polish. This is the way.
Oh my god.
But that would be pretty cool. I feel like you could tell the armor was kind of like, we're gonna lose this guy. As soon as he was like, he's like the guy who, like, you know, you want to bring up when you're like a teenager, you want to bring up like people you've read or like watched that might be a bit more radical compared to what your parents might be interested into, and you want to learn a bit, but you like don't want to be like, Mom, what's this? He's like, so do you know anything about Lady Bo-Katan Kryze? She's like, why? He's like, nothing. Have you been hanging around with her? No. You have, haven't you? I've accidentally arrested Moff Gideon.
Oh my god!
I love that little backstory, the flashback where we get to finally see the Purge, aka was it the Night of 1,000 Tears?
Tears, yeah.
Straight James Cameron stuff.
Yeah,
like pure Terminator 2 opening, like with the KX droids, which
oh my god, they were so scary.
Yeah, like that's what I love about that design, and I feel like when people talk about the designs of the prequels and the original trilogy, I feel like we need to give a lot of credit to some of the designs for this Disney era, because that design is fantastic. Where you see K2SO and you're like, that's the most loveliest droid in the world, and then you see that exact same droid, you're like, that's the most terrifying thing. Especially when you play Fallen Order and they come up to you, you're like, Jesus Christ, these guys suck. It's scary.
How do we feel, by the way, about the speculation on the interwebs about the armorer? Have we seen this? Have we seen who we think she is?
Who is she? Is she Rey's mom?
I wish it was Rey's mom, but no. There's been speculation. This isn't like any valid rumor. It's someone's prediction or like rumor that's been spoken to people about. I don't know.
Is this our favorite source, Claire?
Ahmed Disup. Yeah, it's from Ahmed Disup. No, it's speculation. It's someone friend of mine, Miss Allie, speculating that Rook Cast is the armorer. and that's the reason why she knows so much about the Mandalorian stuff and the history of the Mandalore. And she was, chummy with the old Death Watch, so maybe she was on Concordia when all this shenanigans went down.
She had a horny helmet.
She had a horny helmet.
She has a horny helmet now.
She does have a horny helmet now. Yeah, that's true. It's possible. I love how many times we've used the phrase horny helmet, though, in the last 30 seconds. I just want you to know that. Thank you for
true.
that.
It's just true. I like the idea that she's like, Lady Bo-Katan goes, that's rubbish. She puts it in the bin and goes, I want you learning nothing about that. Learn about the real good people. It's a poster of Darth Maul. This guy is nice.
Yeah. I do wonder what the future of this cult is going to be. If it's two people, and who else are they going to recruit? I feel like I'd be interested if we even see them again, or if it's just going to be like,
I feel like we will
have fun in this subterranean thing, building your armor.
I think for me the core interesting thing about this is because we know that obviously Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau are planning to do this mixture of different storytelling within the TV stuff, and it's going to build up to a big conclusion. I feel like the big main story will be connected to the idea of Thrawn, but also with Mandalore as a whole, and I feel like they're teasing the actual unification of Mandalore, and that means that there's a lot of ground to tread before they get there. Namely, it's to do with identity, which I feel like this show is all about. And it's the idea that, Boba doesn't consider himself a Mandalorian. The Mandalorians, heck, don't consider him a Mandalorian because of BS, quite frankly. His dad was a Mandalorian, fought in the Civil Wars, and they're like, oh, you're a bounty hunter? Oh, no, that sucks. You don't count. But then also there's the other side of the fact that the Imperial regime that came over and literally bombed their planet to pieces and took over in the first place had all of Boba Fett's faces, literally. That's another big that you can see they might not exactly be happy with him. And then you have Din as well, who's again a foundling who isn't technically a Mandalorian by blood, but is a Mandalorian. I feel like what they have to do is they're going to have to all come together. And I feel like Din and Boba are the best people to lead that charge. Because obviously Bo-Katan can't do it. And that family's cursed.
They done screwed it up enough, guys. Let's give someone else a chance to rule Mandalore.
Yeah. It depends how you define cursed, because yes, they destroyed Mandalore. Millions died.
Yeah, not great.
But Satine got a bit of that young Ewan McGregor.
Facts.
So you have to balance it out,
It's true. I hope their love child's okay. Hope Corky's vibing somewhere.
Are you aware of Corky, Clarice?
No. Who's Corky?
In the Clone Wars,
his fucking name is Corky, though, guys.
Bo-Katan's sister, who is Obi-Wan's lover,
yes,
all-time love. She has a nephew called Corky, which because he always goes, Auntie Satine. But we know that Bo-Katan's her sister. She's not had kids because she's pure aunt energy. She's the pure badass aunt who gives you a good mixtape. And has loads of cats.
There's lots of cats.
But we don't know of any other siblings. And this kid, I swear to you, looks exactly like Obi-Wan.
Oh, exactly like Obi-Wan.
He looks so much like Obi-Wan. And they're like, yeah, it's your nephew.
It sounds like someone went away for the summer and came back with a nephew. I don't know. Maybe. I don't know.
I'll try and find a picture while we talk.
Corky.
Because you say Corky, and I'm imagining that person's not called Corky.
Yes,
why?
Corky. Which the worst name.
He does
perfect
look
mix of Sabine and Obi-Wan.
Like Obi-Wan.
Look
at
that. But with Satine's
somebody
nose.
needs to do a DNA test.
Maury, where are you at?
Come on. Yeah.
It's the scene in episode 3, but just with him. He's like, I'm the father, aren't I? I'm so sorry. It's like, no, you can't leave. You've got to pay for 18 years. He's like, there's a war on. See you.
Oh no.
But yeah, there's only like that's a character that could return.
Corgi, woo!
We know
Cookie
Human Rogue's hanging
Breeze.
about. Maybe he's like a ghost. Like, sorry, I wasn't there. Maybe he's doing stuff.
Okay, so they'll have to. I feel like they're gonna have to recruit more people because if we're talking about unifying, I understand spiritually, thematically why it has to happen.
Yeah.
Logistically, I feel like they'd be like, we could probably lose 2 people. I feel like they're not. I feel like they're not essential to reclaiming Mandalore. Just leave them. If they want to come, that's cool. If not,
Well, she could build cool stuff.
That's true.
Because you can't win a war without a really great hammer montage. You need to have some clanging. I think, yeah, you know, you got to unite the families. I feel like, regardless of, like, you unite the families in terms of just the physical families, like the aristocracy and the BS, all that stuff, like Sabine and from Rebels and all that lot, have them all come in. But then you have to have like the foundlings, who like Boba and Din are leading the foundlings, and obviously their foundlings as well. Grogu's gonna lead.
Grogu.
I'm sure Luke's not doing much. Luke's probably gonna pop up and be like, "Hey."
If we see Luke Skywalker in this series or in Mando season 3
right?
again, yeah, if we're gonna go see Grogu, we're gonna probably see Luke again. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm not ready for that again. I'm not ready. Like, I will be excited when it happens, but oh my god, holy crap! This is the era of Star Wars we live in now. I'm really overwhelmed by it. Jesus.
I know what one of the people in this group would love to see. If they go to that planet, and it's not just Luke, but you turn around and see Alden Ehrenreich.
I mean, we're talking about wishes and expectations.
I know.
Yeah, keeping it realistic.
I don't dare to dream. I would not dare to dream, but also I would like to dream.
Yeah,
that would be a good dream.
That'd be a really good season 2. I know people are like, this show hasn't done anything. Which, first of all, no story has to like do something necessarily. Like, I don't feel like Boba has to open a toy shop by the end of the series for it to have meant anything. You know, like, there's going to be like obviously a battle of sorts, and it'll cement his reign. But I just find it a bit odd. But I feel like what's interesting is that potentially this could set up season 2 because there's rumors and ideas of who could be actually behind the Pikes. And if you were to do like a really good, can you imagine? I'm just saying that season 2, it'd be awesome if it was Boba Fett and Han Solo having to work together to fight Kira.
That's of all the things, of all the Star Wars things, if I could have one Star Wars thing, I would like some sort of emotional resolution between Kira and Han.
Yes. Ugh.
Because like the love that they shared in Solo has actually changed my view of Han and Leia, and I don't like that. I want to feel the way that I used to feel about Han and Leia, and I feel like I can't get to that place without some sort of like he needs closure.
Yeah,
I need closure. Maybe he doesn't need closure. I need closure on that relationship that I was not a part of. It's really important for me to move on. Yeah, I can't move on unless they move on. So I would love that very much.
It'd be like an interesting way to heal wounds and stuff. I'm sure like Luke would be pretty chuffed to find out that this person who he didn't really know that long, he just chopped his jetpack a little bit, is helping make his planet a little bit safer. The one that he grew up on.
How sweet would that be?
If he's like, yeah, you know what? And obviously he would have been researching about Anakin by this point, so he would have known that his dad was a slave. And so the idea that he's literally the town where his dad was a slave is now being ruled by someone who's against that sort of idea. It's pretty good. I like the idea of Boba like, no more BS. Everything's my way. Like, I just like the idea of them being like that. And Han and Boba Fett, it's a fun little combination. Like they could be a really cantankerous. They're like the Falcon and the Winter Soldier of Star Wars, where they like begrudgingly have to work together.
Yes.
And you get Kira just like manipulating stuff and being evil. I feel like that'd be just really fun to see Emilia Clarke be a little bit mischievous and evil, but also have obviously she's got a tragic side to her that can tie into, which would be really fun. Yeah, I'm just really intrigued to see where they go with that sort of stuff because there's so much this show and world can delve into, and I feel like that's interesting. And I really hope they do get Alden. I know there's a big debate about do you get some dude Harrison Ford's face and voice? Do you have? I know there's like people suggesting that maybe Mary Elizabeth Winstead could play maybe Leia, which would be interesting. I feel like she's definitely got like the look for Leia, and the sort of sensibility. I still think, I know that obviously she played Connix. I still think Billie Lourd would be a really good Leia.
Yeah.
Honestly, slap a different hair color on her. No one's gonna notice.
No, yeah. when she did that, when she did the entire speech at Celebration, when it was the first celebration after her mum passed, and then she came out in the Leia's dress and she did the exact speech verbatim without any script. I was like, she could do it. Like, I feel like if anyone could fill that role, it's her. Although I wouldn't necessarily mind another actor playing that. I just feel like there's a lot of stories you can tell with those characters that you shouldn't necessarily have to be pigeonholed by technology and stuff. It was funny though because the guy that played Luke was in this episode.
Yes, he was. He was the other X-Wing pilot, wasn't he?
Yeah.
That's what I thought. I'm like, you have too handsome of a face to not be the other guy. I watched that entire final episode of the Mando behind the scenes documentary, and you are equally hot as that guy. It must be you.
That was great. That reaction when everyone was like, "Who played Luke?" God damn.
And then you look at, damn though.
He's a twink. He must be Luke Skywalker. That's the only category to play Luke.
Also, Charlie, my favorite thing is, did you see all the people being offended about Luke Skywalker is gay? Someone was like, Luke Skywalker is so gay. You see all the people getting so butthurt about someone calling Luke gay? Like, it just amazed me. It amazed me. I was like, what?
Because that really changes his character, doesn't it?
It changes so much about his character. Oh, not really at all.
A gay man will not shoot one brats. Like, what? What are we talking about?
Sorry, what? This is an established fact, bro. Straight men love what brats?
Straight men kill little rodents. They are the first step to being serial killers. Gay men can't do that.
Luke Skywalker isn't gay. He just had a really good best friend with a mustache. I'm not saying Biggs and Luke were a couple. I'm just not saying it. You know?
That survived the Battle of Yavin. Who knows?
It was the 70s, you know.
I know.
It was a long time ago.
Yeah, that's right.
Wow. Anyway, what are we talking about? The Mandalorian or something?
I think so. At some point. What? But on the topic of cult, the Mandalorian backstory, I just want to say a little special thank you to the team of the Book of Boba Fett for shoving so much Mando backstory into this episode, because my dad is watching this show and he does not give a shit when I go on rants. Like, he'll ask questions sometimes about stuff in Star Wars and then he'll get completely tuned out, like does not care. And he has asked about Mandalore before. He's like, what's the deal with like he's a what now? And I'm like, well, here's what's up with the Mandalorians. They were this warrior nation and they blah, 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 and all this stuff. And I will go through the whole thing, and he would not listen or retain a single word that I said. But my dad and I talked about Mandalorians the other day. And I'm like, yes, he digested it. Thank you. It makes me so happy, because people who don't give a shit when I rant about it are like, I get it now. I'm like, yes, you do.
I just like the idea of you, like your dad being like, okay, tell me about Mandalore. And then you just going, how do you feel about cubes? I just love the idea, like, Like cube. Should we have cube buildings? Yeah, we'll have cube buildings.
Like cubes.
It was really funny, like depressingly, like a mirroring of that big sequence with the giant Imperial sort of dome exploding. Because that reminded me a lot of Rebels when they blow up that big Imperial thing on La Font. I was like, maybe that's like Thrawn getting back at them somehow, or
sad.
Maybe. Must have been.
Maybe.
Can I share my my attempt to get my family into Star Wars? I showed them the first episode of The Mandalorian. One of them pointed at the Quackian monkey. Is it lizard monkey? Monkey lizard.
Monkey lizard.
Monkey lizard on the stick. They pointed at it and went, "Is that Yoda?" And I just went, "We're out. I'm tapping out. I'm done." If you can't even recognize Yoda, they hadn't even got to the concept of Baby Yoda yet.
Oh no!
If we can't even get Yoda, I think I'm just gonna have to tap out, and I have not talked to them about Star Wars since, pretty much.
You just left the room.
Was that Yoda? Oh my goodness.
Also, the idea that the opening of The Mandalorian would have beloved fan favorite Yoda on a spit being roasted.
What do you taste like? What do you think Yoda tastes like?
Oh, like
rubbery.
Yeah, I want to say like a beef brisket, but like overcooked.
Oh, yeah.
Like
whatever it is, it's well aged. You know.
Yeah.
So, like chewing. Like a chew toy. That Yoda tastes like.
I mean, I'm sure there's plenty of creatures in Star Wars that would love to have used Yoda as a chew toy.
Probably.
But
maybe he tried to eat himself a bit. He doesn't eat by himself. No sausages. And then when Luke comes up with those space sausages, that must have been like he must have made his month.
He no longer was self-mutilating. Is that what you're saying, Charlie?
Damn.
That's why he was so reclusive, because he's like, I'm delicious. I can't be out of society.
As opposed to.
I'm too delicious. I must live in seclusion.
Otherwise, everybody's gonna be lining up for a plate. My goodness.
Just numbing up my arms. Leave me alone.
Piece of this ass do you want? But, yeah, I felt like the Mandalorian stuff, the backstory was great. Because we're like sort of halfway through the episode in terms of like discussing what happened. I want to ask this query to you because I feel like it's a difficult question. Did this feel more like an episode of The Mandalorian, or did it feel like an episode of the Book of Boba Fett still? Because that was a criticism I saw paraded a lot.
It's hard for me to answer that question because I have always felt like the Book of Boba Fett is The Mandalorian.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, to me, what Disney's doing with these Star Wars live action TV shows is because, we've got Kenobi coming out and we've got the K2SO show or whatever that's going to be called coming out. And I'm sorry, I forgot he was the main character, though it's going to be K2SO. I thought it was going to be like a talk show where he just gets guests on. It's like, hello.
No, I want that.
And I feel like there is this central storyline that they are doing with Boba, Mandalore, Din, and it's like that's all the same show to me. So it almost it didn't bother me so much because it's part of the same storyline, and the fact that this is called the Book of Boba Fett and not The Mandalorian Season 3 is like, they could have just called it The Mandalorian Season 3 and I don't think it would have changed anything. But I guess because then people would be confused because they'd be like, well, all the episodes are about Boba Fett. I don't understand. So that's why they did that. I don't know.
Yeah,
it didn't really bother me, I'll be honest.
Yeah, it didn't bother me either. I did feel like I kind of agree with some of it, that it does feel like a episode of The Mandalorian, but that's only because we've had 2 full seasons of The Mandalorian, and like normally when we have these, like, when you think of these television shows that we watch that have like an interlude episode that's like introducing a new character, new storyline through a totally separate entity episode, a lot of the times we haven't spent 2 seasons with that character. A lot of times, maybe not all the time, but that's just because we've had 2 seasons of Mando, and because it just felt like Mando season 2 caliber episode. I felt that it was that way, but also at the same time, interludes in seasons of television are totally a thing, and like, because it felt like Mando to me and not Book of Boba Fett, that's not a criticism. That's like great, because I like the Book of Boba Fett a lot. It is my flavor of weird Star Wars. But it's not quite on the level of Mando season 2, but that's also not fair because it's the first season of its own television show. So basically, I agree with people being like, it feels more like The Mandalorian, but at the same time, I don't think that's a critique. I think that's cool because now we're bringing this extra oomph to the show, and this is episode based on our emotional connections that we've established before in this big old universe where everything likes to connect, which is a beautiful, wonderful thing. Using those, we are about to like skyrocket the end of this story into super cool crazy town, and that's a good thing. It's not a bad thing that it felt that way to me. So it's a great episode of Star Wars. Y'all are ungrateful. Just be thankful you got that. Like, sorry that you hate to enjoy things. Like, come on now. Because I saw a lot of those people are the people who are like, this Book of Boba Fett show sucks. And then they're like, this episode sucked because it's like that other show I really liked. I'm like, what's wrong with you? Experience joy. Embrace the joy. Just shut up.
Yeah, it's bad faith criticisms compared to, because there's people that don't like the show and that's completely fine. But it's when people saying stuff like Tamora Morrison can't act. I'm like, no,
fight me.
Well, that's wrong.
I will cut you.
You know
I will
what?
Yeah.
People
the internet is full of bullshit.
I saw people say Tamora Morrison can't act. First of all, there's a lot of, I've talked about this last week. It's like some people just don't understand. You don't have to act by talking about everything. I saw people like, yeah, but I didn't really get what Boba's trying to do until he said that he wants a family in episode 4. I'm like, did you watch the ones when he did the family? Like, not everything has to be, and I did this, and this is why I want to do this. I'm going to go to the shop. But really, it's because I'm sad and lonely. Like, you don't need to, that's not how people
a lot of people just don't, like, I am a big theater person. Like, I did theater all through college. That's my thing. The big thing about theater is showing, not telling. And, like, not relying on all of these other outside, boom, look, this is a thing in your face, to convey the story and convey the emotion. It's one of my biggest criticisms of The Force Awakens, is because I feel like there's a lot of moments that they just flat out tell you something. Like, the droid is in the hands of your father, Han Solo. Like, you didn't have to wink. Like, you didn't have to go. You literally could have been like, the droid is now in the hands of your father. And then we think, where's that pesky little droid at? And then we go to the next scene and, like, look, we're on the Falcon with Han and Chewie. Like, Chewie's probably not your dad. Finn's probably not your dad. Unless you're adopted and he adopted you, like, as a baby. Like, I don't know. But it's just, we don't have to spell everything out, but some people clearly need it, and it's okay. But also, can you just, like, ingest a thing of Star Wars and, like, not let your expectations of 20 years of this dude being a silent, faceless, like, boring character, and don't let your expectations of all this time ruin your enjoyment of a cool new thing now. Sorry that people grow and change as time goes on. I'm really sorry. I bet there's a lot of people that you've dropped in your life, like, along the way, because we haven't been able to grow together. Come on now.
Well, we're like, what, 1 or 2 years out from having lived with new Boba, I like to call it, from episode 2, as the same amount of time as we had Boba from Empire. So we're, like, almost at that point where we've kind of lived with this version longer. And I like that. I like the fact that, we can go back and, recontextualize characters. And that's how we talked about this all the time. That's how stories do. Like, stories go back. I don't get when people complain about recontextualization, because if you didn't recontextualize any story, like, what would King Arthur be? It'd be, there was a Britain king who did something. Like, there's no witch, there's no sword and stone, there's no Excalibur, because that was all later on. And you don't go back and change things in stories, because that's bad. Yeah. And I feel like the structure of stories is interesting as well, because I feel like this is like a one shot. Like, if it was like a comic run, this would be like the one shot where you focus on one character and you go, what are they up to? What's their mind right now, before we jump into the big conclusion? And I genuinely feel like retrospectively this season might be reflected better when it's all out, compared to just week by week. I think I made a joke about this week. I said it's like people, if Dracula came out in 2021, people would be like, wow, this chapter isn't even focusing on Dracula. What is this? The Jonathan Harker book? Like, that's the sort of like, what is this? What's the Mina show? Like, stories are just told in weird ways sometimes.
Yeah. And I also want to make this clear. If you don't like this show, for perfectly valid, like,
leave. I'm joking.
No, I'm like, you are allowed to not like this show. Like,
yeah.
But I will argue with you a little bit on unpacking some of the reasons why you may not like some things about this show. And then if at the end of the day you don't like it, that's cool. Great. Not your Star Wars. Next project might be for you. We're very much always big things like, not everything is tailor-made for you specifically. Everything's shades of gray, and it's okay to be okay on something or to not like it. But we can just discuss some reasons why you might not, that are like not helpful. I don't know.
And I will say, anyone who says that Tamara Morrison can act, just like, please watch other projects that he did that aren't Aquaman. You can't choose Aquaman. That doesn't count. He's a fantastic actor, and I'm like emotionally upset that people are saying that he's not good.
He is so good, and I really love him in this. I just feel like
him in this too.
I feel like just sometimes I think this isn't just an issue in terms of, because people are like, oh, it's a writing thing. I don't think it's a writing thing. I think sometimes there's like a dissonance and a disconnect between maybe Americans and like the Commonwealth humor, where I feel like Tamara Morrison, like a lot of his characterization comes from himself. There's a lot of jokes and sarcasm in Boba. I just don't think people get it. We said it last week. I saw some people like the moment when he says, "Don't press the buttons." Some people are like, no, I actually just think he doesn't like Fennec pressing the buttons. I was like, no.
She saved his life, guys.
He's joking. That's a joke.
He's doing a bit.
That's the joke. Like, come on, guys. Ugh. But enough moaning. Let's jump into some fun stuff. Some prequel
talk about
shenanigans.
Well, you said no more moaning. This had me moaning. But go on. I hate myself. Please continue. It's working. Yes, it is. That was a neat trick. Oh my goodness.
Claire, I haven't seen your reaction yet, but I can't even I'm beginning to think. What did you think when you saw BD? The little BD droid.
I need you to know that I purchased a BD1 pin before, like, literally the day the first trailer with him came out. A big BD stan. Obviously, I streamed Jedi Fallen Order on our Twitch. Go follow our Twitch.
Nice.
I died. I could not. I don't even know. I was so overwhelmed with pure delight and just like emotional at seeing BD. I'm like, oh, sweet little boy. And then he breaks his little foot and he looks like just like when we meet him in JFO, he gets his little foot broken right away. And he also looks like my brother's cat who was adopted, and he has a little crooked front leg because he was abused and then he was put in the animal shelter and his broken foot didn't heal right. So he walks like Baloo. And I'm like, I love it. Sorry, that was really whiny. But yeah, it was good. I was happy.
Oh, this made me sad now.
I know. Baloo is a happy, spoiled cat. He's thriving, so don't worry about Baloo. And then little BD got his foot fixed, so everybody's good. Everybody's good.
And I just love how well it works in live action. Like it looks exactly like the game, especially when he scans the little thing and puts it on the. I feel like I was going, burn the game.
He's a useful little scamp.
And I could just continue to love Amy Sedaris' Peli, one of the best characters I feel like in Star Wars. She banged the
some
Jawa.
of the stuff she said this episode, I was like, I had to rewind. Like, I'm sorry, what did you just say?
Very fairy. Sorry, you go.
No, I was just gonna say I instantly thought of our friends over at Blue Bantha Milk Company, who do the Calrissian Chronicles with my lovely bro host over at Broaxium, Chris Ryans, as Lando Calrissian. And in the very first episode of the Calrissian Chronicles, he's like sharing his memoirs about his love life, and he's just like, my first wife was a Jawa. And I just thought about this whole Lando Calrissian Jawa love scene. It took me back instantly to Chris talking about how his first several ex-wives were Jawas. And I'm like, oh my God. So furry. I love that one of them hits on her and she like politely turns him down. I'm like, what?
I'm working on myself now.
I'm working on myself now. Amazing. Oh.
That Jawa though, much respect. Because he, you know what? He goes for it. She says respectfully no, and he goes, sweet, no worries.
I just have a lot of questions, but I feel like maybe I should keep them to myself.
No, you have to tell us.
Sharing is caring.
Does the hood stay on?
I don't know, because you know this like. Do you turn the lights off? Because they just have two bright yellow eyes sticking there staring at you.
Oh God!
Because I would maybe do it just to find out like what's in there.
What's going on?
Very curious.
They must shout at Utini, right?
I bet Utini.
Oh.
They must shout. They must shout Utini when. In
the climax, Charlie, is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
And it's like wherever they are, you think you're alone in the bedroom. The other Jawas are responding. What did he? Like, have they been here the whole time? They've been watching us? What?
The cuckolds. We've learned that the Jawas are cuckolds.
Oh my God!
And they,
someone write a fanfic about this.
I need it,
so I don't have to do the thinking about it.
I'm just saying. We know that Peli slept with a Jawa, and we know that Disney like doing crossovers within their own IP, right? Just saying, Pam and Tommy were Peli and Jawa.
Peli and Jawa.
Oh my!
Like, Dean, I need you to get the tape back. He's watching it like, what the heck?
Oh God!
A lot of fur.
Yeah,
she's right.
Oh gracious me!
Honestly, good for her.
Yeah,
empowered woman.
Empowered woman.
Right. You get yours.
Herself. She's like
not letting those droids turn her world into a democracy.
That's right.
Yeah, absolutely. Good for her.
Boss lady. Boss bitch.
Yeah.
I continue to absolutely love the pit droids. One of the best parts of the prequels. The little pit droids, the best.
They're so cute. I love them so much.
So cowardly,
so
jealous. Also, I think it's ironic that I feel like R5 has had more screen time than R2 has in the entire sequel trilogy.
Aww.
Which no
Poor
respect.
R2. He's
he
a
had his
true
gasket.
star.
He had his star moment blown in A New Hope, but now he gets to reclaim it.
Better late than never.
By getting yelled at by Amy Sedaris.
The dream. Let's be honest.
Dream.
Oh,
There's a lot
goodness.
of really fun Easter eggs in this one. The Java has that big rod. That's a nod to that tape. No, the big stick that he stole under the Pike's freighter. It's the same stick that they use in A New Hope. In the garbage chute.
Oh.
I never put that together.
Yeah, which is one of those like pointless Easter. I didn't catch it. I watched it afterwards. I was like, oh damn. Again, one of those pointless. It'll be a pub quiz question, I'm sure, at Celebration. Yeah, a lot of really fun little bits of Easter eggs. Of course, we have to talk about our, the N1 Starfighter, which was rumored, and I had heard about the rumor of it potentially appearing, and I was like, who knows? We'll see. And then they showed it, and I was like, it's just so good. Everything about this episode, obviously, we haven't talked about Bryce Dallas Howard directed the episode. I thought she did an amazing job. I feel like she's free for free with the episode she's done so far. Really, really good. This one might be my favorite that she's done, because not only does she get everything about the character right, she gets everything about it just looks stunningly beautiful, the visuals, but she really knows what she's doing. Like, there's a video, I think, of her a few weeks ago, or like a month ago, or whatever, holding a document from Dave Filoni that he drew her the history of Mandalore, which is like really great. And obviously I was like, oh, well, now we know why she needed that. Like, she's telling their story. But also, what I really liked as well was that there's a lot of shots in this episode that just come straight out of the other films, or like resemble one of those. Obviously, we've got the Becca's Canyon scene, which is obviously a nod to both A New Hope and also it's literally the pod racing track. Like, you see the little ramp, which I just remember playing the little Lego game, going down the little ramp. And the thing I loved the most was the spinning scene, which we were talking about a bit before. Like, not only is that like obviously a reference to, I'll try spinning, that's a good trick. But also the opening of Attack of the Clones, the first shot, is is Padme's big silver starship spinning with the two N1 starfighters spinning.
With the horizon. Yeah.
And someone did a 2 by like a shot by shot, and it's like absolutely pretty much trying to do that. I was like, that's so good. So I really did appreciate that shot. What did you think about the N1 and Din's new ship? Who wants to go first?
It's interesting. My primary association with the ship is from Star Tours, because I always remember the ending where you crash land into Naboo, and there's like I don't know why I always think of that first, but that made me very happy because Star Tours is like my favorite thing. So, and because we've had all the like the RX droids, the ones that look like Captain Rex as well. They've cropped up like multiple times in this season, and I don't know what that means. I hope that means something. Star Tours is coming. They're laying the groundwork. I don't know, but I love it. More Star Tours stuff, please.
Star Tours.
I always love it when Star Wars makes a really boring, like fucking dull part of real life Star Warsy, so that I can not feel alone. And that, like you saying, that bit where he had to like get ready for the ship, go for the gate. I was like, next time I go on a plane, I can pretend I'm in Star Wars. It's like, take your shoes off.
It's me. It's me every time I try to fly Ryanair, and they're like, "Oh, your suitcase is too big," and you're like taking stuff out. That's him putting the darksaber in the hold. That made me like, "What are you doing?" A legendary lightsaber, and you've just put it. You've taken it out of your carry-on
on a commercial flight.
It reminded me of.
Yeah.
It reminded me of that Robot Chicken sketch when Palpatine lands on the Death Star and he's waiting for the luggage. There's just like one case going around. He's like, "That's it. I've lost my luggage. I have to wear this damn cape the whole time."
Honestly, I'm obsessed with that whole side of Star Wars. Like, the Star Tours, the Galactic Star Cruiser thing that's opening soon. The like the banal everyday admin of Star Wars I find fascinating.
Which again is another nod to Attack of the Clones, which I feel like it's kind of funny that this year is the 20th anniversary of Attack of the Clones, and we get like a new sort of appreciation for that film, regardless of how you feel about it. I feel like elements of it are just seeping into all of Star Wars now, whether it's Boba Fett as a character, like Jango Fett, or the cloning history, everything from the Clone Wars that stems from that. And even smaller things like obviously the chef from last week's episode was from Attack of the Clones on the little ship, on the Star Cruiser ship, which again, another Star Cruiser ship that takes them just normal passengers around. I thought it was really fun. I like seeing the little R unit with the drinks. That's one of my favorite bits about episode 6 in Return of the Jedi, when R2 is like giving drinks around and C-3PO's like, why are you giving drinks around?
R2D2.
This is the shot parallel, by the way.
Oh wow.
That makes me so happy.
The clones on the right, and then Din.
Yeah, that's so similar as well.
I was like, oh, they know what they're doing. They absolutely know what they're doing. I was like, that's such a great little nod. Really loved it. I loved Din's ship. I thought the chrome effect looks great, but kept a little bit of the yellow, which I was like, well, obviously there's a nod to obviously the fact that the ship is usually yellow. But then I feel like doesn't his old ship have bits of yellow on it as well? I think it does have yellow stripes on it.
I don't remember. I'll be honest with you.
Like, like when you see the big creature come out, you can just sort of, in your mind, you see like the stripes are yellow. I'm sure it does.
It does have some kind of stripe, yeah.
Yeah, I think. So I like the idea that he's like, he's got an idea of what he likes. He's like, I'm a chrome guy.
It's like when you get the iPhone upgrade, but you keep the case.
Exactly.
That's right.
Like, no, yeah. I'm going to stick with the color scheme. It's just pure meat.
Yeah. And I love that they did the N1, and I love that that's his ship now. However, my stupid, like, trying to bring realism into this brain kept going, Dim used to live in his ship. Like, he had bunks, he had a refresher, and now we just got a cockpit. I feel like we've downsized a little bit, which we need to keep this. Don't get me wrong, but we're still technically homeless. We're living out of our car, and it's not that comfortable.
See, it's interesting you say that, because this connects to the conversation we had earlier. You don't understand. This is a midlife crisis. He just downgraded from an RV to a Ferrari.
Oh my god.
I guess my question is when he does the bounties, where do they sit?
Right.
Because is he just saying, look, I was bringing people warm or cold, now there's no option. It's just cold.
Very cold.
I only have room for one decapitated head in my ship.
I guess
like,
maybe
where's Grogu gonna sit? He doesn't even have a seat.
That's the thing. They tease it. They got rid of the droid.
The bubble.
The little bubble. So, could you imagine that? The little bubble head going, looking out the window.
Like one of those cat backpacks.
Yes!
Okay, that's cool. And then maybe the decapitated head also goes in there when he's using it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Bounty stuff.
I don't think he'll be doing bounty hunting anymore, though. I feel like Mandalorian Season 3, this is what it's set up. It's setting up the idea that he have to do something else instead.
True, but I feel like he doesn't know that fully at the time.
No.
So I'd be questioning, like,
maybe
is this the most practical?
Maybe he just stays at Jabba's palace, like that's his bro. He's practically Boba Fett's basically his uncle, Grogu's uncle, right?
Yeah,
he's crashing on the couch.
Where's the little fella? So yeah, I like the idea of him just staying there, goes off, comes back if he needs to do so. I guess if he does do bounty hunting and he has to use carbonite still, I'm sure you can get like some sort of carbonite dealership, and then you just attach it to the bottom of the ship, like
there we go,
and then just fly off.
That works. Yeah,
we'll say that with the option.
Well, it's like a little trailer at the back.
A trailer.
Like a bike in the top of the roof. Just a person.
Okay, I want to see that now. I really want to see that.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, we have that really great sequence, obviously, with some returning characters with the X-Wings, which I just constantly love the idea of the New Republic being like just like Democrats who are like, yeah, go, we're doing things differently. It's like, you're not doing anything.
Yeah, it's like we're the cops, but we've got pride stickers on our cop cars now, so
yeah. Get out of here.
Don't you worry about it.
It's like, you're the guy that saved all those people, right? Mm-hmm. But you're speeding. Like so. Also, I have my little din here. I've got to show him.
There we go.
Oh.
Obligatory din.
Oh, he looks so cute.
And of course, you can't have
Weedles.
him without his bro. His little bro.
Oh, buddies.
The
Jetpack
bros.
buddies.
The best.
Cuties.
But yeah, and then obviously the episode ends off with Din arriving back on Tatooine, being pretty chuffed with his new ride. Pimp My Ride episode has ended, and we have friends reunited. And Fennec appears and gives Boba the opportunity to help her and help Fennec and Boba out, which I really enjoyed because I had a bit of a discussion about this. Like, will Din would he be like awkward about helping out in terms of like the criminal empire stuff? But I was like, no, this is his bro. He's like, do you know what? I'll do it for you. And they
How
did
cute
it
was that? For free.
for free. They took it to the next level. Like, take your money. I'm doing it for free.
So
was like-
sweet. Because
It
they helped
reminded me-
rescue his kid. Of course he's gonna be like, I owe this man. He's the godfather to my child. Of course I'll help him out.
He's the machete to
Yeah.
the Antonio Banderas of Din.
Oh my god.
I love Spike Kids reference that.
That was a
I
Spy
really-
Kids reference.
I just really love their little broship, and because they do relate to each other. They're both orphans. They're both Mandalorians who are foundlings, not blood related, and they both, have a deep father connect. They have a appreciation for the father-son relationship. One because Boba had lost his father, and one because Din lost his son.
And his father and his mother.
Oh yeah, that too.
Daddy issues.
Also, droid issues. Today, because I was
Droid
talking about, just to go back a little bit, talking about like why Din had such hatred for droids in the first place. Obviously, we were like, it's because his parents were murdered by battle droids during the Clone Wars. But also now we have the bonus idea that the KX droids were the ones that were slaughtering the Mandalorians in the past. So, not great track record for droids against Din.
No, not really.
He's like, oh, goddamn. But he's making up for it. A little scene with him and the little BD droid is really cute.
Precious.
Yeah. He's very annoyed by it, though.
Yeah, like putting the light up. All right, calm down. But yeah, I really like the idea of them being these two related characters, but they just bro out together, and there's no sort of major conflict. And I feel like if there is any conflict, hopefully it won't last too much, because I feel like those characters can actually really rely on each other, and there's a strong sort of bond between those two, and Fennec as well to an extent, because obviously they formed a little bit of alliance there. And I just really excited to see what they do with that. And then the thing that I was actually really surprised about, because I thought, spending an episode in The Mandalorian, I can deal with that makes sense to me. But the line, there's someone I need to see, I need to see a little friend first. I was like, we're not going to see Grogu, are we? But then because you're like, wow, okay. It was like that meme, like the constant galaxy brain exploding meme.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, my head was like, okay, seeing Grogu, oh, interesting. Then I was like, seeing Luke Skywalker again. Oh, and then the last one was like, seeing Han Solo. I was like, in my mind, it's constantly going.
And also, wait, when was Ben Solo born? Was this
5 years?
Trying to
after,
calculate.
so
5, so he's not alive yet.
I feel like he might be alive. Yeah,
Baby
probably
Ben.
like 1 year old,
Baby
maybe.
Ben.
Baby Ben.
They're gonna point to a crib and be like, "This one's gonna be trouble." Watch out. Because that's, I mean, I have to say, like, with Grogu, like, I feel like I have some closure with him, and as adorable as he is, like, I'd be happy to leave that chapter behind, except for the question of, well, okay, wait a minute, now what happens with the rise of Ben Solo becoming Kylo Ren and all that? Like, did Grogu get out in time?
No.
And I feel like they have to answer that question, even if it's just in some future TV show or some future film. They go, "Oh yeah, Grogu got out. Don't worry." I feel like they can't leave that hanging forever.
I feel like once you escape one emo Skywalker genocide, you can escape them all. Quite frankly, because not only do we have to work out if he escaped Ben, we know for a fact that he had to escape Anakin. Because he was at the temple.
So he saw the red flags very early on, and he's on the phone like, Daddy, I want to go.
I'm scared.
Imagine him on the ride home being like, wow, this amazing Jedi's come to find me. And Din's like, he's your kind now. And then he's like, he puts them in the ship. He's like, I'm Luke Skywalker. And Grogu's like, fuck. Or there's like a sequence where Luke's like, hello, young Padawans. I'm Luke Skywalker. This is my father. And then the Force ghost of Anakin appears. And he just stares at Grogu. He's like...
just waddles away as quick as he can.
He's the one kid I let live.
Oh my god.
I don't know that everyone loved Grogu. Even Anakin is like, get out of here, little scamp. Watch those other kids like chopped in half. He's like, get out.
Oh, I just like the idea that he was like in a vase the whole time because he's so small. He just climbed into. he just pretended to be a statue like the whole time. Anakin didn't notice.
He was in the fridge. He was in the Jedi Temple fridge.
Yeah. He's so small. That's the thing. I can easily believe him escaping that. I just don't know about the second time around.
Yeah.
If he's gonna get away.
We know he wasn't technically there, right? Because there's a comic that shows that. So maybe he checked out a bit earlier.
Oh, right, because we've seen in the comics. Yeah, but he's small. He might have been in the background, like burning.
He's underneath the panel.
Oh, no. We don't know. Oh, no. I'm just saying, unless we see him in the spaceship, like flying away, or we see his little tiny corpse.
Teenage Grogu with like a little mustache.
I feel like I don't
quite grow properly.
Oh.
I feel like I won't know either way.
Oh no, now I'm scared. Although I'm not as scared now that we know that Din's got a little present for him. Which, by the way, very rude of the armorer to fold it into a Grogu shape.
Yeah.
It's like, here's the thing you wanted me to buy you. I've also gift wrapped it and done origami. Fuck it.
Oh.
What do you think they made out of the spear? Well, obviously a bit of the spear. I saw people like, I can't believe the spear made all of that. I'm like, well, of course they didn't, idiot. Like, they used a little bit. It's just the idea that people are like, unless I see it, the whole spear made that. I was like, no, it didn't. I think it's chainmail. I think it's a little chainmail outfit.
I want it to be a helmet, but looking at it doesn't seem big enough.
It doesn't.
No.
It's like a little tiny.
Someone, I can't remember who tweeted it, but someone said it's like a Bilbo giving Frodo the chainmail like vest. Like it's a little Beskar.
Oh my god, that's how he escapes the
Exactly.
Kylo Ren massacre.
I think she stabbed him.
But it didn't go through.
Yeah, it's like Mike McFly. He just throws it down and runs away.
I like this idea because now it would all make sense in my mind this is like Chekhov's chainmail.
Chekhov's chainmail.
This baby just won't die.
This baby won't die.
Oh god.
I just want to see Adam Driver screaming at Grogu for 5 minutes.
Every gun to fire on this baby. I like the idea of Ben trying to recruit him as the apprentice. But like the baby's just like destroying everything. It's like,
Oh my god.
I don't want him anymore. Anything to exploring Ben more it's just fantastic and interesting. I definitely think that we should see Ben. I think the best idea for a poster of like Boba Fett is maybe if we see maybe like Din and Han Solo next to each other, but they both got like those baby holders. Like the baby one's got Ben, one's got Grogu.
Oh, that would be cute.
That would be cute.
Because if you think baby Grogu is powerful, imagine what baby Ben was like. Stop choking the children, Ben.
Oh,
stop it.
Goodness.
Oh my god.
But yeah, I think that'd be really cute. And especially if they do get Billy Locke, because obviously she's had a baby recently, so maybe that she can
just use her baby. There we go. Ready-made baby.
No casting calls needed.
No,
another generation. That's pure Skywalker. That is. Like,
it is.
We'll keep putting babies in
Billy, we need your baby in a robe ASAP. Get over here.
What if the baby is just like a baby, but it has Adam Driver's hair?
God. Oh my god. It's the most luxurious wig you've ever seen.
But it sounds like him as well, like Goo Goo Gaga.
Oh Jesus.
I feel like if we are going to go to the see Grogu again, I would want some sort of, I don't know, some sort of link to the newer Skywalker movies, just to try and like make that transition smooth, just so we're not doing it to be like, it's Luke Skywalker, he's here. Okay, say goodbye to Luke. I feel like this is a nice opportunity to just create like a few narrative threads that feel natural, and then we can have that, and then we can go back. We can go back to Boba.
I also feel like, I know that the big criticism is small galaxy, and the idea of why are you bringing all the characters back at once? But I'm just saying, if you have the period where you have Ahsoka, who grew up with Anakin, in the period with Luke Skywalker, Leia, first of all, you'd absolutely want them to meet, because she's the cool aunt. She's like, yeah, I know your dad when we were like chilling out and fighting, committing war crimes. And like you'd want that meeting, and then you got all the interconnected. Like Han Solo's like, oh yeah, I knew Darth Maul. I'm like, you stole my girlfriend. She's like, oh crazy. I thought it was. Like you kind of want that little bit of interconnected. Like there's a lot of depth you can get from that. Like, there's this really great art piece from Celebration a few years ago, and it's this art piece of the Millennium Falcon cockpit, and it's Ahsoka Tano with the big spear, and she's showing Luke and Leia this sort of hologram of Anakin from the Clone Wars, like, and you can see Luke, and he's got his arms folded, and he's smiling. He's like, "Oh, my dad," and then you see Ahsoka smiling, and in the background, Leia's holding baby Ben, and the little baby Ben's smiling and reaching out to the hologram of his grandfather, and then it's just Leia like
yeah, really glad y'all have good memories of my dad. Remember when he tortured me? But yeah, glad y'all are happy.
That is something I feel like you can explore in a TV show. Like that
interesting dynamics.
I feel like that's interesting, like, right? Like the idea of Luke being like, yeah, I'm gonna do what my dad did, and Leia be like, yeah, but also you chopped your hand off. You tortured me, you blew up my planet.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think like there's a huge difference to me between telling interconnected stories that feel, as you said, logical and natural.
Exactly.
Versus like, not to dunk on Marvel, but it's not like Star Wars has gone, well, we've got a multiverse now and we're opening portals and out comes Willem Dafoe. Like, mm-hmm. I feel like the nice thing about Star Wars is that it is a world. It's like it's a sandpit that you get to play in, and you have all these established characters, and because of the arc of their storylines, they're gonna intersect over and over again.
Absolutely.
And like that's, I don't know, that's just like, that's not weird to me in the way that if you just like randomly brought back a very, I guess, like, I have more issue, for example, you know, on the occasions that characters have been dead and they go
like Darth Maul, right?
I'm sorry, I'm gonna say Darth Maul. I feel like that was like, you know, it's not natural to the storytelling. Or if they brought back Samuel Jackson, he just walked through the door and be like, hello, I'm here now. You know, I feel like there's obviously the fans would love that because everybody loves Samuel Jackson, but it's like that's a really huge difference because there's no place in the story for him. And so I don't think the shows have done anything so far where I've been like, oh, that's weird, that doesn't flow, that doesn't fit with that world. But we'll see.
No, absolutely. Like, with Darth Maul, for me, when I found out he was coming back, I was like, well, that just ruins it. Like, what's the point? Like, because he died. But then when I watched the Clone Wars arc and the way they sort of explained it, and I was like, God damn it, you won me over, you stupid. I was like, and now I'm glad because obviously we've got to explore that character in the way that we never really got to do beforehand. And also, I absolutely accept that, but also there's something quite funny about George Lucas showing up like 10 years later and being like, we're bringing him back. And then cause there's the actual story of like Dave Filoni being like, well, we brought in Savage Press because we wanted like a Darth Maul like character, like his brother. I was like, we can't just bring him back. He died. And George Lucas was like, so you figure it out. It's like beautiful, but I just love George Lucas's being like, who cares? But again, but obviously they made a story that sort of made sense about why he came back, as opposed to it being like, and I'm back, and like I remember like in Legends when people were like, General Grievous is back, but it's not technically General Grievous. It's like the spirit of General Grievous' body. I was like, shut up, stop it.
Well, I guess it's interesting with Boba Fett, but that one, I guess, because it's been pretty long established that he wasn't dead, it's like it's less weird. But you could argue that they just did decide to bring Boba Fett back because he's cool and people like him.
Depends on like you say, like it depends on the story. Like the idea that obviously the sort of like devours you over 1,000 years, gives you the opportunity to like they said, like he had oxygen, he had a protective measure. If he didn't come out of it completely, you know, it wasn't like he walked out the side pit. It was like, oh, that was annoying. Right, anyway, I'm gonna go back to my house. Like, there's like a repercussion to that, and it's the same with like Darth Maul. I feel like there's like the mental and the physical trauma that comes with that, the storytelling, and I feel that's interesting. As opposed, like you said, some people just want it to be like, I'm Ben Solo and I'm back. Like, where were you? I died. That sucks. Let me get my jetpack.
Yeah, like they wanted. Like there is such a huge because the Boba Fett we get now has developed and is a richer character, and we see so many new sides. It would have been a very different thing if in Mandalorian he just like jetpacked into the scene and went, hello, it's me, baby. And I'm back, and everything's like it was before, and it was just him in the armor like being the same again. Like that would have very much annoyed me.
It's Mandalorian and Book of Boba, I think, in my mind, are very fantastic contradictions because they're both telling really original, interesting, character-driven stories at its core, and also doing the generic what I did as a kid, which is just picking up toys and going, what if this? Like, you know, because Din Djarin is pretty much, what if Boba Fett had a lightsaber?
Yeah.
And guess what? He is Yoda, but he's a baby. Like, it's the sort of thing you come up with as a kid. Like, you know, like, okay, like when you got toys, you're like, okay. And then Anakin comes back and Ahsoka's there. And like, it's the sort of thing that you're like, oh yeah. But they meld that in a way that I think works better than perhaps JJ did with his trilogy. I like the sequel trilogy, but I feel like the way he does that is just a little bit. They do it a bit better job.
Palpatine has returned somehow. We're gonna put that entire burden on Oscar Isaac because
I'm afraid. To be fair, he sold that line so beautifully that it was no consciousness, you know.
And we were like, yeah, sure, yes, I guess, yeah, sure. Oscar said it.
he sold the collective emotion of like, God damn it. We thought we were done with this guy.
These
But he's
fascists won't
back.
die.
We threw him out the club. He came through the back door. I don't know. Even he's here again.
I want a drink now.
Oh my goodness.
But yeah, that's pretty much all we've got time for. That was a big chunky episode, delving into a pretty big chunky episode. That's what am I saying?
It's a big chunky episode today.
Big
old
chunky
chunks.
Just like
The
the little
chunks
Jawa.
are real meat.
Big chunky and furry.
And furry.
Like we love it. But yeah, let's go to our overall thoughts and score section. Now, Clarisse, I don't know if you know this, but we don't actually rate things out of 10, if that's okay.
That's
We have
fine.
a different rating system.
Why would I be angry about that?
Just to let you know,
Okay.
we don't rate things out of 10. We rate things
Yes.
out of 10, obviously.
I love it.
So obviously, as our guest, I'm going to open to you first. How would you rate this episode out of 10?
Ooh. I really liked it. I want to give it an 8.
Good score. Nice big overall score. What about you, Claire?
This is my favorite episode of the season. I think that goes to show pretty heavily favorited right now. I'm gonna give it, but we still got room to grow. We got a whole bunch of stuff that's about to go down. I'm gonna give it 8.5. Although I don't like cutting Tem in half, but apparently I just did. Sorry, bud. But as we know with Darth Maul, he will survive.
Just the head area.
Oh.
You're the one that cut him. I'm not
I'm
going to cut
sorry,
him.
Tim.
I'm giving this a 9 out of 10.
There we go. Big round even Tim.
I really like this episode. I think my biggest issue of the series so far has been, like, I feel like structure, like the way that some of the time lapses have gone haven't been very clear. I think that episode, the episode I wasn't happy with the most in terms of that was the third episode when the big Tusken death scene happened, just because it wasn't clear immediately. Like, is it the same Tuskens or when did this take place? So, but this episode, now we've cut through all the flashbacks. I feel like we're getting straight to the point now, and I really thought this was a really great episode. Big love letter to the prequels, which, as you know, is what I'm here for. Big prequel defender. I mean, Claire did a ridiculously long amount of time defending Attack of the Clones. And this episode felt like, it's a big little love letter to some of that stuff, and really enjoyed that. Stuff I didn't like, obviously, I feel like I would have liked to have seen Tem. So I can't give this episode 10 out of 10 without Tem. That'd be ridiculous. Yeah. So 9 out of 10, I feel like it's a good overall number for that.
Still room for more Tem.
There's always room for more Tem.
Facts.
There's always room for Tem. But yeah, that's all we've got time for this week. Now, let me just get rid of poor Tem. I'm sorry, Tem. Got to get rid of you again.
Miss you, buddy.
We love you. Clarisse, where can people find you and your work?
Everything I do is I post on Twitter, so probably best to go there, which is at Clarisse Loughrey. Or just Google my name. Very hard to spell, I'm sorry.
And I definitely recommend following your newsletter, which is incredible.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I'd sometimes talk about Star Wars on there. It's the place where, because often I don't get to do it with my main job because they say that's too much Star Wars. Stop. I'll go on my newsletter and be like,
just wrote in Casablanca is a really great film. Anyway, The Last Jedi has a scene there. You can't do that. But no, definitely follow Clarisse. Great follow. Always great work you do. We love you here, and you're always welcome on in the future.
Oh, I love you guys. Thank you for just talking about Star Wars in such a positive, informative, and entertaining way. It's lovely.
Yeah, that's what we're aiming for, to make jokes about Jawa dicks.
Yeah.
You said it in a better way. You summed it up better.
Awesome family fun. Ugh.
Exactly.
I hate myself.
That's our new tagline. What was I going to say? I forgot what I was going to say now. Claire, where can we find you?
Well, you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at cstribs. You can catch me over at Broaxium every Sunday night on the Broaxium YouTube channel. We are shooting the poodoo, usually with a cocktail of some variety and just hanging out, talking about everything that came out that week. All the fun, like, I haven't gotten into Peacemaker yet, but they're really vibing with it. And talking about that, we talk about all the new Marvel stuff, all the new Star Wars stuff. We talk about video game stuff. We talk about all sorts of stuff, and it's fun. And then I also cover Dr. Aphra for them. So that's pretty cool whenever there's a new Aphra, which is not until March, single tier. That's you can catch me doing that. And obviously catch me on the Imperial Senate Podcast and doing lots of TikToks. Do you like me yet, Gen Z? Am I cool yet? Am I cool?
Have I won your favor? It's like that episode of Community when they're trying to win over and then they like sort of get bullied by the kids.
That's exactly how I feel trying to do TikToks. I'm like, I thought I got it, but clearly I'm not cool. Damn.
I think we're old. Yeah. If you see the TikToks, the reason why Claire's on most of the videos is because I just don't know what I'm doing. I tried to make one the other day and I was like, no.
I told you to make one. I told you which one you should have made.
I know, but I couldn't figure out how to do it.
I've never tried. All I know is the piggy dipping at the piggy pond. I don't know anything else about TikTok.
Okay, I clicked the thing and it said, like, try this effect. So I clicked try this effect and I did a video. But all the sound was like the other person's video. I was like, I don't want that. And so I quit out of it.
Oh my goodness. We'll learn you some TikToks, young man. I'm a cool kid. I'll show you what cool kids are into nowadays, Charlie.
Hey kids, do you want a Game Boy?
Dab.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Fortnite.
Yeah, flossing. I can't floss.
Euphoria. People love Euphoria.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the cool thing right now. Yeah.
Drugs and sex, kids. That's what people do. The teenage.
We watch Skins, okay? Euphoria. Come on now. We get you. We get you. Cool
Skins
kids.
is 15 years old as of today.
Can we not? Can we not do that to me?
It's almost like we're mortal beings and time is a very short supply.
Bitch, I'll live forever. What are you talking about?
Speaking of short supply, you can follow me on Twitter at CMWASHBY. Everything you can find about me is on that link tree in my bio. So yeah, find all my stuff. You can see me moaning about Tamara Morrison or just going crazy, writing a big thread about Batman Returns, probably. Generally, that's what I think about in most things. Like, people talk to me about serious topics like war, and I'm just thinking about Michelle Pfeiffer. And quite frankly, that's
same.
Who isn't? But that's all we've got time for this week. Thank you so much for watching. We'll be back next time with the final 2 episodes of the Book of Boba Fett.
Yeah.
Kira. Manifesting.
Yeah.
Just seeing all those footage, like those clips of Emilia Clarke doing Marvel in, I think, Yorkshire. I'm like, come on, make it happen. Just come on. A little bit. But we won't find out, obviously, until next week. But until then, thank you so much for watching. See ya.
Bye.